headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I am Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, hosting this hour with best-selling author and Ramsey personality, Dr. John Deloney. And we are here to answer your calls, and it's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. All right, we're going to start off.
Hold on, whoa. It's launch day, yo.
Oh, I was going to get to a call first.
No.
It's launch day. We'll jive right head first into it.
We finally have a book that's at my reading level coming out of this company, and I'm excited for it.
It's a children's book. I'm glad for what I have. So it's my kids' book that is out right now. So you can go and order at RamseySolutions.com.
It's beautiful. I can't wait to buy them for all of my family. It's amazing. It's really great.
All about contentment and great for this holiday season that we're about to embark in.
I know. And George is writing these money books I can't understand, but I can understand this one.
You can understand this one.
Lots of pictures. That's
yes,
right.
baby squirrels. They ask for more and more. They gather as much as their burrows would store. So get ready.
That looks really great. It's really actually amazing.
Yes, thank you. So yes, I'm glad for what I have is out today.
Awesome.
All right. Let's see if Michael in New York, who's up next. Let's see if Michael has any kids.
Mike.
Michael, do you have any children?
I got one on the way coming.
Yes.
Good. Hang on the line. We're going to send you a book.
I'm going to send you my new kids book for the new baby on the way. Okay. How far along is your wife?
Very early. It's like we're about 8 weeks, 9 weeks, something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is just now becoming real.
I'm the first baby gift. I have a feeling, Michael, that will be given to you.
Coming.
Okay. Well,
that's awesome.
Hang on the line after this call, but how can we help?
So, since, me and my wife got married about 2 years ago, and she's very reluctant on attacking her $120,000 student loan debt she has. Right now, she's, I'm willing to help her with it. I'm definitely there for her to help her with it. But she doesn't want to make the steps for herself to really attack it. So I want to, every time I bring it up to her, she gets, a little defensive. She doesn't want to really talk about it. So I'm just trying to get a way to get us on the same page.
Yeah. It's a great question. And I think, Michael, just even the way you have kind of phrased the situation, even to us, it does feel like a his and her mentality. So yeah, when you go to her about her debt, it can feel like an accusation, or you're wanting something that she doesn't want, and it's about her stuff. So that's where things get really messy and really, I understand why she probably is feeling the way she is, because I think the mindset that you guys have, not just the student loan debt, but just in general with money, and the way you guys look at this as a team, sitting down and saying, hey, before we're going to talk about the $120,000 student loan debt, let's talk about the values of our family and our soon-to-be, family, now that kids are coming into the picture, which is very exciting. But hey, what do we value? What do we want as a family? Do we want to be debt-free? Do we want to live without debt? Do we want to be a generous couple? What are these values that we want to have? And out of those values is where you can make these tactical decisions like paying off student loan debt. So I think that's one of the bigger conversations, Michael, that I would encourage you guys to have as a couple. And money fights and money problems, I mean, this is a big tension point for people, but it's not just because of the money. It's usually the things underneath it that get stirred up because values are not aligned. Does that make sense?
Sure.
What shuts her down when you start having the conversation? Why does she withdraw?
I come to her and I'll be like, babe, I'll ask her, because I'll be like, how's you doing with your student loan? And she pays it every month.
All right, hold on. I want to stop you right there. Are y'all married?
Yes.
Yeah, it's y'all's.
Yep, exactly.
It's y'all's.
I totally agree.
It's y'all's.
Absolutely.
So do y'all have separate accounts?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather our accounts be together, but...
She won't join your accounts with you?
She's reluctant.
Why?
She's reluctant.
How come?
That's a great question. We've had that conversation before.
What does she say?
She's like, oh, well, it's really like spinning the wheels, to be honest with you. I couldn't give you exact wording on it. I haven't spoken to her about it in a little bit.
So here's a conversation that happened in my house about 10 or 15 years into being married.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that my dad was a policeman growing up. And there were seasons when he would put his debit card in knowing there was no money in that account, but he had babies to feed.
Right.
And I remember money being this pulsing neon sign that told me that my family wasn't enough and that my dad's service to his community wasn't enough. And that I was less than all of my friends because they could buy cars and they could go on vacations. And so I didn't want to talk about money, and I thought it was fighting my wife, and I wasn't. What I was fighting was my childhood.
Sure.
And the only way we got to that conversation was the time my wife said the words, "John, I am scared to death." And it took the air out of my lungs. And so I think there's a conversation to have about, hey, have you paid your thing? Have I paid my thing? And dude, like Rachel said, y'all will dance around this thing forever until you have a baby. And then it will be like, I want to have it at home. I want to have it at the hospital. I want to, right? And then it's just going to go on and on. It's getting to that underneath thing that Rachel was talking about. Hey, honey,
Sure.
I feel like you have your life and I have my life, and we're about to have a baby. And I've been coming at you with numbers and plans and your money and my money. I'm scared to death we are going to create a life that we just co-manage this household, and I want to do life as one. Will you join me in that? You see what I'm saying? That's you taking a knee. Because let's say this.
Sure.
What your plan hasn't worked. The way you've tried hasn't worked.
And it won't because she won't.
Right.
If she doesn't want to do it, she don't have to do it. You know, the way it's set up.
Right. But it's not like, it's just odd to me because it's not like we make bad money. We make decent money.
It has nothing to do with that. You know? All that does is buy you some margin to be a little more stupid and a little more separate. Right. If you both are making $7 an hour, you have to pool this money because you can't because y'all make good money. It allows y'all to do stupid for longer.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Michael, and I think too, you know, if I was in this situation and my husband came to me and just said, instead of a pointing fingers accusation, it's a different posture, honestly, of the conversation of saying, God, what is underneath that, babe? Like what is the thing that scares you so much that is making you so hesitant, not just to pay the bills, but for us to be together as a team? Because that's almost, Michael, more concerning to me than just $120,000 student loan bill, which needs to be paid, but this mindset shift. So I would want, knowing in humility and kindness, Michael, that you want to know her, like you want to know what's going on, and having that conversation with her. And then on a very tactical side, just to give you something, even pull together your income and just say, hey, how long would it take us to pay this off? If we like really dove in and like at least give some kind of plan, and let that even be a tactical step too, because sometimes this idea in your head of paying off, it's like, I don't know how, I don't know what the first step is, but if you initiated that even, it could be a jumping off point too into the conversation. But
hey, we're going to give you Ramsey, we're going to give you FPU as our gift to you.
Yeah, hold on the line. We'll give you the book, God for What I Have, and FPU.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to get up to 45% off. That's Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour with Dr. John Deloney. And, Christmas, have y'all started shopping yet, John?
Yes, we have.
You have?
Yes.
Well, good for you.
But we're doing it different this year. This year, we're not going to buy 1,000 things.
Okay.
We're going to do a couple of things.
Yes.
And be very intentional.
Yes, with it.
And so, we're already thinking that through.
So nice. So nice. Well, we know that Christmas is a big deal to all of you watching and listening. And if you're a fan of the show and fan of this content and you want to give out some things that have to do with whether it's your mental health, your career, your money, there's a lot of meaningful gifts for Christmas during our $12 sale. So shop our best-selling books, The Total Money Makeover, Baby Steps Millionaires, and Own Your Past, Change Your Future for just $12. And also, John's Questions for Humans Christmas edition is back. And all those conversation cards are as low as $10 right now. And these sold out last year.
The Christmas ones were gone, so we got more. We're ready to go.
Ready to go. So make sure you guys to check all of that out at RamseySolutions.com/store. The $12 sale is there for you. So order the books, order the stuff to give away to your friends and family, and actually let it be a meaningful gift, that you give that's actually going to help them in their life. So RamseySolutions.com/store. All right, up next, we have Logan here in Nashville. Hey, Logan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. How are you?
We are doing well. How can we help?
Yeah, I wish I was better than I deserve.
Oh,
what's up, man?
Sorry, Logan. What's going on?
I was just kidding.
Okay.
Anyway, so currently, I do have some debt I got to deal with, and I never thought I would actually be calling into the show after all these years, but. So currently I do have some credit card debt. I have a little bit of student loans left. I am married. My wife has a little bit of student loan debt too. But basically this year we've had a lot of trouble with cash flow. Her job's not, just basically paying her by check. She was working remotely and things kind of fell behind. And
y'all are feeling the stress.
Yeah, we are feeling the stress, and we actually, and I mean this lightly because our marriage did kind of was a little bit on the rocks, but we both want to make things work out. So, I guess the best way to go forward about this, because I know I probably got a few years as far as an uphill battle as far as the debt.
Yeah.
The snowball debt and everything, but how can I get her on board with this without feeling, on the same page as me, without feeling, so anxious and everything. And basically, that's just my question.
Yeah. Okay. So just a couple of tactical questions, Logan. How much do you guys make a year?
So I make around 48 on one job. I am taking a second part-time job. So,
okay.
And she makes around 38.
Okay. All right. So, and then
before taxes.
Before taxes, sure. And then how much debt are we talking? How much student loan debt combined and credit cards combined?
So my student loan is $6,000, which is not bad. It's just I haven't paid it in a couple of years, mainly because. Well, we won't get into it.
You haven't had to, yeah.
Yeah, but then,
how much is hers?
Hers is around 17.
Okay. And how much credit card debt do you guys have?
13.
Okay.
That's over 2 cards. One is approaching the max out, and the culprit of it is, our rent's $1,700 a month right now, and. There were times.
Hold on, Logan.
Yeah.
Not the culprit.
Yes.
Not the culprit. I'm listening to you talk, and you have very distant language from reality. Here's what I mean by that. We had some trouble with cash flow. No, y'all didn't make enough money, and you spent too much. The main culprit is the rent. It's not. The main culprit is. We have chosen to make 38 and 48 and not work 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. We've chosen to live in a city. All of the healing that has to happen in this household is going to start with y'all both choosing reality.
Right.
And not living in this world is descending upon us in all these ways. No, dude, we're going to take it. right by the horns and say what is real and what is not. What is real is we are broke. What is real is, dude, you don't have a ton of debt. You have too much. But I thought you were going to say $150,000 the way you're just sounding like Eeyore. Like, oh, well, it's all coming down. Bro, it's not. You know what I mean?
It feels like it by my standards because this wasn't a problem 2 years ago. And, I mean...
Yeah, but you stopped being intentional.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Why'd you stop being intentional? I don't know. I'm just thinking about, like, why? Just give me a straight, right-on answer. Why'd you stop being intentional?
I guess it's because I cared too much. Because the thing is, this was a philosophy. You know, Dave's philosophy was something that was important to me, and then I found myself in this position. But I guess what I didn't do was make sure that I did the necessary things to keep us out of this position.
Perfect. That's the kind of ownership you need moving forward. Because now you're going to, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and what's your wife's hesitation? Because I know you were asking about the marriage part of that. What is her? Well, why is she hesitant?
Well, she's never really. Let's see the best way to put this.
Just say it. Just say it. Just say it.
She's never really focused on this aspect of life.
Just okay. So she's a free spirit. She's a spender. She doesn't really want to be bogged down with the details.
Right. At least she used to be worse. But obviously this past couple of years, she's saying, okay, we need to do something.
Yeah. Yeah. Logan, there's a feeling I'm having, and I could be totally off base, because even the way you're talking about the marriage, your marriage, and then the money stuff, there's just a level of kind of like life is just happening to us, and kind of a level of apathy that starts to kind of just sink in, and you kind of just become going with the flow. And there's not this, and I'm not saying you have to live your entire life intense 24/7, but realizing that people that win in life, that have a healthy marriage, doesn't just happen, right? They work on it. They go to therapy, they read books, they sit down with couples that have a marriage that they want, they practice communication, they fight about, they do the work with money. People that win with money, it doesn't just happen. Like, they are so focused, so intentional, right? So there's this level of intensity. I kind of just like want to shoot through the air right now to you and your wife to be like, you guys can do this. Like, your numbers, and especially if you get a second job, like, you guys can make real progress, but you have to care. Like, you have to get in this place. And I think you may be there where you're realizing, oh my gosh, I don't know where else to go. That's why you're calling us. But there's this this intensity that I want you guys to have that's going to help you get through this process, this lackadaisical kind of attitude. It kind of just, you kind of end up getting what you're getting, and nothing changes. There has to be some level of deep change for you guys, and there's a level of passion there for life, for your marriage, for your money, like all of this, to do it on purpose, right? And I would want you and your wife to be on that same page and working towards that same value system, that same goal.
This sounds like I'm going to come out of left field. Do you exercise, dude?
I do every day. I'm a delivery driver, so it feels like it.
So, what do you get passionate about?
Well, honestly, about music, because I am a musician, and that's why I came to Nashville. And I actually made a living as a self-employed musician for years. Then the pandemic happened, and I kind of went in other directions.
Okay.
But I still play.
Well, I want you to deal with the loss of that identity, that who you are. And that, I'm guessing, Rachel, there is a sense of just kind of lost at sea.
Yeah.
And good for you. I know some musicians who just sit on their hands. Good for you for getting out there and throwing boxes to put food on your table. That's amazing. But I want you to find some vigor again. Like Rachel said, like, find some passion, some intensity. Sit down with your wife and hold both of her hands and say, let's do this. You can do it.
Hey, folks, you know that sinking feeling? when you make an offer on a house you love and then you hear there's another offer? You need the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge. Super fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate, plus a $5,000 seller guarantee gives your offer the best chance of being accepted. The Home Buyer Edge from Churchill gives you an advantage over those other guys. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more.
So, John, inevitably, what money brings up at times for people in their relationships are just these like little awkward moments, you know?
I know you and I.
Things come up.
You and I have talked to couples who are like, seen each other naked, made kids, bought homes together, don't know how to talk about money, and they're like, I just don't want to bring it up. It's like, y'all made a human. Like, I know, but it's weird, right?
Totally. It's a thing. And within friends and family and in-laws and parents, I mean, all of it.
How much you making over there, Deloney?
It's such a...
Right? It's like, so like, really?
So, Go Banking Rates had these awkward questions, and George Campbell and I on Smart Money Happy Hour, we've talked a lot. We've had this conversation because there's so many that come up in life. And I don't feel as awkward just because I guess we just talk about money every day. It's our job. So I'm like, I don't even think twice about it. But for so many people, it is such a thing. So
let me tell you a quick Deloney thing about awkward. Can I do this, James? So I was creating Questions for Humans sex and intimacy thing that we're working through. And some people in the building were like, John, this is super awkward. And I was like, I asked these questions to my friends. So I went home to Sheila, my wife, and I was like, hey, these are all questions like I've asked at dinner parties across. And she goes, and I quote, yeah, John, you've been making dinner awkward for a long time. And I didn't know. I was like, oh, geez. Okay. All right. So anyway.
Like, I know you're very comfortable with all these questions about sex.
Okay. But we get, so James split these questions up. And so I don't know what Rachel's about to ask me, and she doesn't know what I'm about to ask her. So you go first, because mine starts at number 2.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it in as if I'm asking you.
Okay. Awkward money question.
So John, how much money did you make last year?
We did good. we were blessed last year.
Well, I feel like it's a fair conversation. People are talking about their income a lot, and it's just it's kind of a little selfish to hold it all in, because if I know what you're making, then maybe it's going to help me. So how? It
would, but like one of the most common things people tell me is I'm selfish with private things, and like you're exactly right. I like to keep that between me and my wife.
I tried to really.
That's it.
Go in there. Okay, so if someone, because that's a trend right now.
Oh, to ask how much?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Gen Z's like all in it. And because they're like, yeah, if my friend's in marketing and I'm in marketing, I should know what she makes.
But you super shouldn't.
Because if she's making more than me, then I have the potential to make more. I just don't know I could be making more if I don't know what everyone else is making.
See, here's my challenge with that. Oh my gosh. Here's my challenge with that. It goes back to the book you just wrote. If me and my leader, Jeremy Breland, we shook hands.
Yeah.
Here's what I agree to. It doesn't matter at all what you make, because I agreed to this. I shook hands. The only time it's unethical, I think, is if we agree and shake hands and we say on X dollar amount and he pays me Y and he pays me less. And I'm like, hey, we agreed on this.
But that's talking about within your leader, your person that's paying you. I'm talking about your friend. Or this does say colleague. Oh, this does say colleague.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But hey, if I knew how much you made, John, as a person. You do know,
because you're on the board. So you know exactly what I make. So there you go.
Okay, number 2.
All right, number 2. You're asked to donate to charity, but don't want to. Okay, so, hey, Rachel,
I got mine.
Will you donate to this?
At the grocery store all the time.
Will you donate? No.
Roundup.
Not the school stuff. I'm your friend, and we work together. Would you donate to my pet parent fund to help pet parents, particularly cat moms and dog dads all across the United States? Would you donate to that charity?
Is it a 501c3?
It could be. Okay. It's an OU 812.
Well, Winston and I, we actually planned out all of our giving.
Oh, so you instantly went to blame the husband.
All right.
That was well played.
Winston and I said both of us, we are one. We have planned out our giving for the year. So we give to 3 organizations. So that's already planned out. And we kind of have a miscellaneous giving. So let me chat with him. But we usually give to individuals in that fund. So you can apply next year to the Rachel and Winston Giving Fund.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Can you imagine like a Girl Scout coming to your door with Girl Scout cookies? You'd be like, oh, well, here's an application. You can apply for next year. All right,
I did buy wreaths from a Boy Scout last week because I wanted to support the Scouts.
And I buy Girl Scout cookies by the wagon load. So there you go.
Thin Mints. Okay, next one. Hey, John, can I borrow some money?
No. What do you need? I'll give it to you, but I'm not going to loan it to you. I just don't loan money. Yeah. Because it makes...
But I feel weird. I can pay it back in 6 months, but...
That's cool. If I feel like I can give it to you, I'll just... Yeah. I won't take it back.
All right. That's how you handle that one, people. Just give. It's a gift. Never a loan.
Rachel, I borrowed $500 and I didn't pay you back. I'm sorry. I forgot to pay you back.
That's fine. I gave it to you.
Oh, you just switched it?
I don't loan money.
Because originally you loaned it, but okay, cool.
Wait, is that your number 4?
Yeah, someone forgot to pay you back.
Oh. Okay, okay. Hold on. How much? 500? Like for plane, like say like we were all going on like a couple's trip and
I didn't have it.
Was it if you don't have it or you have it and you just forgot to pay me back? Because I have forgetful friends in my life. And they're like, oh, I meant to Venmo you.
I just got that text this morning. Yeah, I forget all the time.
Yeah. So if it's like you have the money, it's like, oh, we forgot to pay you and Winston back for the plane tickets. I'm like, that's fine. You can just Venmo me today. No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
if
your friend agreed to it.
if you don't have the money, then forget it. I'm not holding that over you.
Okay.
Okay, so we're out at on a double date, and you leave the waiter $10 on a nice meal. Not a great tipper. What do you do? This reminds me of a Friends episode where Rachel Green's dad, anyone, didn't tip well, and Ross swooped in there and changed the tip.
Oh, dude, what do you do? I'll make a big ordeal of that.
Wait, to your friends?
Yeah, I will.
Even if it's not a great friend?
If it's not a great friend, if I don't know him that well,
you don't know him that well.
I'll overtip.
No, but what if they bought the meal and there's one bill sitting on the counter or sitting on the table?
I've actually left money before.
Just left some cash. What if you don't have cash? Change it? Would you? Well, no, I guess you couldn't do that.
I don't do that to their money.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Not good.
You're on a date. And they ask about how much money you make.
I haven't dated.
You and this Winston thing just didn't work out. And so you're on a date with Dan. And Dan's like, Rachel, how much money do you make?
How many dates has it been?
3.
Yeah, no, sorry, man. You don't get that. No.
No.
If we're about to like, oh yeah, I'm in love, he's in love, and we are, and this is it, then we're talking money.
We're planning for like next stages?
Yeah. Then I share.
So would you want it to be
not on a third date,
a surprise?
Would I want what to be
not
a surprise?
Not a surprise, but like, Dave tells a story of like, you all and your spouses knew that Dave and Sharon were doing good, but didn't know like, oh, wow. And so I would imagine I would have liked that conversation to be had after I was married. So there wasn't this, I would always be able to know I'm not, somebody isn't looking over my shoulder or I'm not a part of a bigger plan this person has. They love me for me.
Oh, I hear what you're saying.
I like driving an 88 Churchill Easy hatchback because I knew my wife loved me. It was not for anything I brought. No,
not after the money.
Yeah.
No, I can see that. Totally. All right. You have a roommate.
Yeah.
And he's not paying his fair share.
You have to have that hard conversation.
Yeah. And that looks like
you agreed to rent. You agreed to pay rent. Bro.
And if you don't.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
Bro.
People always say, I don't want to screw this up. Like, I don't want to make the relationship all weird. They did. All you're doing is addressing the reality, the weirdness that they have made.
Yes.
They have violated your friendship. It's not you.
That's a good point.
And they'll often go, are you seriously going to just like throw me out? I'm simply responding to your lack of character and your violation of our friendship. You did it. I'm just got to call spade a spade. I can't afford all this rent. I got to go get another roommate now who will actually pay rent. Are you serious? Does that make sense? It's hard.
That's a great point.
But all I'm doing is calling it out.
Yes, I've never thought about that. You haven't done anything wrong.
Right. I had a group of friends in college, and we may or may not have gotten in trouble. And it was fascinating because every person in line was, no, it was me. Next person, dude, that was me. And the person eventually was like, y'all get out, right?
Yep.
It wasn't if you tell on me, because that makes me a bad friend for letting you go down for me, right? So I think we get that out of order all the time.
Yep.
Hey, You can't afford to be a part of someone's bridal party. I want you to be at my wedding, but it's $7,000. Fly to Acapulco.
all these destinations. Yeah, man, I will be there in attendance. I don't have money to be able to do it. I would just straight up say it. I would just say it. Yeah. Y'all, if money wasn't awkward, I don't know. I don't know if it still is. I feel like we really helped a lot of people.
We just solved America.
I
there you go,
we helped
America.
a lot of
Welcome.
people out with that segment. Embrace the awkwardness, people. Embrace it.
Head into it.
This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, if you're in over your head with student loans and tired of getting calls from collection agencies, if private student loan debt is taking away your financial peace and you don't see any way out, you need Yrefy. They're not a debt settlement company, and they're not connected to a bank. Yrefy refinances defaulted private student loans that other places won't touch and gives you a custom loan built for you based on your ability to pay. So when you refinance your private student loan debt with Yrefy, you'll have a payment you can afford with a low fixed interest rate you couldn't get anywhere else to help you stick to your budget and work the debt snowball. And you can save thousands of dollars. To learn more about this custom refinancing option and a lump sum payoff option you could qualify for after 24 months, call 844-2-RAMSEY or go to yrefy.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. It is a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. Up next, we have Ashton in Panama City Beach, Florida. Hey,
Panama!
Hey, Ashton.
Hey, guys.
You live in a great
it's a pleasure
area.
to hear from you. Oh, it is beautiful, the Emerald Coast.
It is. A lot of Nashville people head your way on most breaks. School breaks.
Yes, ma'am. In 1 month, me and my wife may drive up to Franklin to see you folks.
Come on.
Oh, I hope you do. Come join us. We have some
ma'am.
lovely people right now in the lobby watching the show. We have lots of visitors, a lot. So
Tell them I said hi.
I will. Ashton says hi, everyone. Ashton says hi. How can we help?
Yes, so me and my wife, we are blessed beyond measure. We are Gen Zers, to kind of follow and piggyback off what you just said. And we talk about money all the time. We communicate. And we are blessed because we're in baby step 3B now. However, we're really just in a place where we really don't know what to do with our money because we are having to travel 4 different locations in a matter of 9 months for her doctor of physical therapy school. And so we're in the second rotation now, and we have a fully funded emergency fund, no student loan debt, no consumer debt whatsoever.
Good for you guys,
and
Ashton.
we don't necessarily. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We are blessed, like I said. But however, I just really want to make sure we do things properly. I don't want to make any mistakes. However, I know life's all about making mistakes, right?
Yeah, no detrimental ones we don't want.
As much as possible.
Yes. Okay, so so if you guys are past baby step 3, are you guys homeowners?
We are not homeowners, and that's kind of where I was getting at, is like we're having to bounce around to these different cities.
Yeah.
So we were in Tulsa for the first one. Now we're here in Florida, and the next third and fourth one's going to be in Missouri. So we really just don't know where we're going to end up.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily know if we're even going to be looking to buy a home soon based on where we're going to live, if that makes sense.
For sure. So you know what I would do, Ashton? I would be funding retirement. Are you guys putting any money away?
That's the thing, is like we call this storm mode just because our life's pretty chaotic right now. In the 9 months, we have to really live out of our suitcases and Airbnb, cash flow, everything like that. And so it's really hard to really get the budget down when it comes to knowing what the months are going to look like in the next month. So we're really just saving everything that we have in order to be able to cash flow. It's a unique situation.
Yeah.
On,
and that's fair. And 9 months for retirement isn't going to be absolutely detrimental, but I also don't want for that to be on pause for too long, right? So if I were you guys, I would map out as much as I could the next 3 moves and the next 9 months, and just to say, okay, on average, how much is the Airbnb going to be in Missouri? Is it, if we're going to be there for 6 months, is it cheaper to rent somewhere for a 6-month rent or Airbnb? Like I would kind of start pricing out your options just to get a ballpark. Because here's what I don't want to happen, Ashton. I don't know, this may not be your case, but I don't want everything, in those 9 months to cost you guys, I'm just going to throw out in random numbers, 20 grand, and you guys have 50 saved, and you could actually be putting some of that in the market because you have plenty of margin. So you are telling me, though, that you feel like there's not a ton of margin. You're not just being overly cautious. You guys are really like, hey, this money we really need and we'll probably use.
Just based on living off of my income, to kind of give you an idea, my wife's full-time clinical, so she's putting in 40 hours, no pay, because it's called education with quotations, right?
Yeah.
What a racket, right?
So exactly. Dr. John Deloney, the higher education thing, I understand. We're blessed beyond measure. However, we're making about $50,000, but praise God, we've only spent $37,000 in a year. And so we're definitely living below what we're making, but we're not making a ton.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
For sure. So I would be fine with that kind of storm mode mentality, having things in a high yield savings account and just kind of staying afloat until the 9 months. But at 9 months, do you guys know where you're going to land? Do you think you know what city you guys will be at long term, or no? It's okay if the answer is no. I'm just curious.
That's the kicker, because she's Native American, and that's why she's getting a full ride scholarship for grad school.
Oh,
it's
wow.
a contract, though. She has to go work for a clinical or hospital that's under the Indian Health Service.
Yeah.
And so that is such a blessing, knowing that she'll have to get a job. If she doesn't get a job within 90 days, they're just going to place her randomly. So it's a lot of stress.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, so Ashton, I want to throw something at you.
It could be. Oh, what's that, sir?
I want to throw something at you. So there's a strange thing that happens when the nerd word is agency, okay, or autonomy. But when your body understands that somebody else is directing your life, it will sound the anxiety alarms. It will make you uncomfortable. And most of us, when we start feeling that discomfort, we start trying to solve problems that are just over the hill.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It sure does. And
part of me feels like you are stretching because
uncomfortable, though, right?
Well, part of me thinks, you've got the plan. Rachel just laid it out to you. Just dump money into an HSA, a high yield savings account, not HSA, but high yield savings account, and focus on living every day the best you can for the next 9 months. And then where y'all get, because I think a lot of this is just spun up energy that you're trying to dissipate by extra planning.
100%. I'm such a type A planner, the nerd. I got my EveryDollar inside spreadsheet.
So, dude, homie, listen, get into working out. Get into hiking.
Sir.
Get into doing something
I love
else.
And fish. I'll tell you that.
Do what?
I do love to golf and fish. I'm trying to go golf with Ken one day.
Yeah, for the sake of humanity, don't golf. But go fishing. Go fishing. But come up with some things you can do in real time to practice dissipating that anxiousness. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to start attacking your wife with spreadsheets and plans, and she's going to come home exhausted from a clinical rotation. You're going to be like, hey, honey, I got 4 new houses for the next 7 moves. And she's going to start leaning a little away from you because you'll be a lot. And what you're going to be doing is using her to try to dissipate some of your anxiousness. Don't do that. Find outlets. You have a deadline, right, Rachel? There's an end to this marathon. Y'all are just in mile 12. And mile 12 to mile 19 of a marathon is the worst, except for the last 5 miles. So just keep running. Keep running, man. And
you're kind of saying it even with picking up hobby. Go do something, but also just take a breath too, right? So you guys you're doing great, right? If you guys were, deep into student loan debt and she's getting her graduate and it's going to be another $100,000, all of it, then I could see the tight woundedness that you are, Ashton. I feel like a little bit from the call. So breathe. You have permission. Just relax.
Just breathe.
You're good.
Who wrote that song?
You're good.
Faith Hill, I think.
Faith Hill.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why Jessica Simpson came to my head. Why did that happen? Sorry, Faith.
You're thinking of a Michelle Branch song, also called "Breathe."
Oh, lots of Breathe. Okay. Listen
Still
to
not
all of that,
Still not
Ashton.
Jessica Simpson.
Start a playlist, Ashton, with all of these songs to remind you to breathe, because you've done the hard work. You guys you're young, you don't have debt, you have a fully funded emergency fund plus the storm mode that you're talking about. So all of it's good. And then where you guys land in 9 months, rent somewhere for a year and kind of see, okay, is this going to be a long-term play? And if it is, then you can use some of that money that you guys have saved in this period of time for a down payment and move forward. But I would not keep investing off the table for a year. Okay. So like, I understand, having some money during all these transitions, but once you guys are settled in a place longer than 3 months, start thinking about retirement and start working through the baby steps, because again, it's the analysis or paralysis of the analysis is what is that what it is?
Yeah, and it's also an obsession with the finish line. And the more you can realize that finish line is just going to move on you, because the moment you get assigned to a Native American hospital, you're going to want to know how many years do we have to do, what's the minimum number of years we have to do this so that we can go to the next place. And you're going to immediately jump to that. And then as soon as you move there, you're going to start looking for, hey, can we make more money? And you're going to realize as you get older, that finish line just keeps moving. Yes. So my buddy Sal DiStefano says, the man who falls in love with the journey goes much further than the man obsessed with the finish line. So make peace. You're on an adventure for the next decade of your life because you married this amazing, brilliant woman who's going to be serving these special communities. Awesome. Make peace with where you are every step of the way, not this obsession with where you're going to end up.
That's right. Ashton, thanks for the call. Thank you, America, for listening. Thanks to all the guys in the booth to make it happen. Thank you, John Deloney, for co-hosting this hour. This is The Ramsey Show. Of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I am Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour with Dr. John Deloney, and it is a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225, answering your questions about life, money, relationships, and work. So first up, we're going to go
Hold on, it's launch day.
Are we doing this again?
It's the second time.
Okay, fine.
It's launch day.
It is launch day.
I will sell your book for you because it's amazing.
I'm glad for what I have. My new kids' book is out, you guys.
Oh, I thought you were just being weird.
All on.
Yes, that's the name of the book. It's so good.
Oh, I'm not just saying I'm glad. I am glad for what I have.
You should be, because
I am.
It's good.
And
but the book is amazing. It's beautiful, and it's well done. Your drawings are so good.
Thank you. I did not draw them. Lauren Gallegos, I'll give you a shout out. But yes, the illustrations are precious. So if you have kids in your life, you know kids, you have kids, this is a great book, especially for this time of year, because it's all about contentment and learning that what we have is not going to fulfill us long term. And us adults need that message too.
Can I say this?
Yes.
This doesn't get enough publicity. The last time I looked, I think it was number one, but I don't want to be that strong on it because I haven't looked at the literature in a couple of years. One of the very tip top things when they distill down what can a parent do to help your child be successful. One of the tip top things.
Read to them.
Is not get them into a fancy school, it is to read to them every day.
Yes.
Get children's books and read to your child every single day. 10 minutes, 30 minutes, read to your child, read to your child, read to your child. And it changes their mind. And Rachel, this is an awesome book to start that. For families who don't read, this is a great way to start.
That's right. And it's short. So you're welcome, parents. You are welcome.
And it's at my reading level, which makes me happy.
It has rhyming words for John. All right, we're going to go to the phones. And first up, we have Judy in Raleigh. Hi, Judy. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, John. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
What up?
How can we help?
I've been specifically waiting for John on this one.
Oh, John, here you go. The pitch is to you.
So My husband and I, so I'm like the budgeter and in charge of the finances. I pay all the bills out of our joint account, all that. I've been listening to Ramsey for years. I'm super no debt, all of that kind of stuff. We did have some debt. We paid down to $600. We're almost done. But then within the last month, I found out that my husband has actually committed what the term is financial infidelity to the tune of $50,000.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry, Jody.
So, yeah. The reason I'm not like in tears is because I've already done all that. So what happened was I found out we have meetings about money, and I recently heard some advice that instead of just having meetings, I should press to see all of the accounts. Like, what are the statements? Let me see show me your phone, all that kind of thing. And he had been avoiding that. And now I know it's because there were balances that I did not know about. So
what was he spending that money on, hon?
So I now have the passcodes to everything, and it was just groceries and gas, and kids need this. There was nothing extravagant. It's just he was spending more than he was making. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, so we just didn't have the income. So he had run up credit cards, got a $17,000 personal loan to pay them off last year, and then ran it up again to $24,000, another $24,000 loan this year, just 2 months ago.
Judy, have you seen those statements?
Yes, I've seen everything now. I got his credit report. I've got, we have the joint banking account, but we each have a checking. So I have I have his passwords. I have everything.
Well, here's what I'm getting at. It happens. There's no question it happens.
Yeah.
$50,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
To hide.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And it's very rare that the nickel and diming of groceries here, soccer uniform here, it doesn't include a hotel room here, a trip away here, alcohol or gambling over here.
I've pulled every single statement.
Okay.
And he's so the largest things are he's $250 he's loaned to his sister, or something like that. There's nothing. I've asked him down to $60, $25. There's a $10 charge. What is this? There's interest. There's late fees. He hasn't been paying them on time. So there's hundreds of dollars of interest and late fees on all of the cards. And I think what hurts me the most is that I'm always talking about money, and I thought we were together, but we were not. And his explanation is that, well, he doesn't really have an explanation. He's very humble. He told me he's ashamed. He told me he's embarrassed.
Right.
He's sorry. He feels like he wasn't able to provide for us. There really isn't anything. Like I said, I've combed through. I've printed statements. I've highlighted. I've asked about everything. I've added things up.
Okay.
And he just was swiping his card. We just didn't have the money.
Okay. So
we start FP today. Because I push for that.
Okay.
Because mindset wise, I feel like we weren't together.
So what's your question, hon? How can I help?
Well, something must have happened for this connection. Like, what do I do emotionally towards him? I know there's the money part, but there's also the relationship part.
Sure. So here's what's real important. You mentioned it. You kind of flew over it, and I think this is where you have to start. Okay. And this is not a traditional infidelity advice. When somebody cheats on you, whether with another person, whether with money, whether with any number of things, I think you can cheat on your wife with a golf course. I think you can cheat on your wife with work, right? With the office. I think you can cheat on your wife with a whole bunch of stuff, or cheat on your husband with a whole bunch of stuff. I think, honestly, we so narrowly define fidelity into the act of some sort of sexual act. I think infidelity is way bigger than that. But we often focus on that thing, and that's what the Hollywood movies are made of, and that's what the big, oh my gosh, and you talk to your friends. I think there's another thing that is more catastrophic, and that is this. You missed it, and you don't trust you anymore. You don't trust the ground you walk on. You don't trust the cereal you're eating. You don't trust your own radar system. And that, I think, is often as much, if not more, disorienting than the actual act of infidelity. Because when he sat down and explained it to you and you went through every single thing, his story actually makes sense. He was a grown man who was ashamed that he couldn't provide for his kids, and he just punted reality until it hit him in the mouth. I wouldn't advise that, but that story's plausible. What's scary for you is the sidewalk you walk on, which is, I can at least trust me. You don't trust you anymore. And so I think you start this process, with here's the 4 or 5 things I need on a daily basis so that I can begin to rebuild trust. Your marriage, as you knew it, was over. Y'all are building something completely new. Honey, I need these 4 or 5 things every single day. And you get to decide what those are, and he gets to decide whether he's in or out. But more importantly, I want you to go talk to a professional counselor. In fact, stay on the line. I'm going to hook you up with 3 months with my friends at BetterHelp. You have to start learning to trust you again, because you're not crazy, and right now you feel like you've lost in the wind. Hang on, we'll get you hooked up with some professional licensed therapists.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget. Today's question of the day is brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services. Here at Ramsey, we believe in making home ownership a blessing, not a burden. So we recommend Neighborly's nationwide network of service professionals to help repair, maintain, and improve your home. Find the help that you need at neighborly.com/Ramsey today.
All right, today's question comes from Daniel in Oregon. I'm a 40-year-old married man with 3 young children. I have an Ivy League degree and an MBA from Georgetown. I am buried in both mortgage and non-mortgage debt. My total non-mortgage debt is $476,000.
Oh my gosh.
And my house has both a mortgage and a HELOC on it for a total of $881,000. My total debt is $1.3 million. My wife doesn't work outside the home, and I work as a consultant. My gross annual income can range from $225,000 to $415,000 with commissions and equity payments. I have no retirement savings, no life insurance, no will, and struggle every month to pay my 4 walls. All my credit cards are maxed out. I need help.
Oh my gosh. Daniel. Well, before we dive into the numbers of this specific scenario, this is the classic example, you guys, of your money. It's 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. You can know what to do, but if you choose to live above your means, even with a close to $500,000 annual income, this is the result you get. You could outspend yourself continually. You can continue to do this. So my first piece of advice to Daniel is you have to fix you.
Stop spending.
You have to understand why, what is all of this? What's the mindset that you guys are in? What are you, it's almost like this, I don't know if it's the comparison, keeping up game, if it's like a medicated, it's like a medicator just to go and spend and to get whatever the thing is that's causing these massive numbers and this massive stuff of $476,000, which I know is part education, but also lifestyle. You guys have to look in the mirror and ask some serious questions about who I am and what am I doing that got me to this place. So understanding you, Daniel, is it's a big part of this. But on a quick note, I mean, John, I may at this point just sell the house. Like,
Well, he's got to pay the HELOC off on it first.
there's a point that like, the HELOC of $880.
It's a total between the mortgage and the HELOC. I would probably sprint to try to pay the HELOC off as fast as I could. And by the way, wife goes back to work. Sorry, but y'all are not broke. Y'all are desperate, scary broke. Wife goes back to work, and we pay this HELOC off, and we sell the house.
Yeah,
because we got to go back to square one. And here's what I was going to say earlier. My dad had a bachelor's degree from the University of Houston and was a homicide detective. They made X amount of money, and mom stayed home. My wife got a PhD and got a research professorship. I got a PhD and did all that. And what that gave us, because we didn't practice the tools, we didn't use the tools, all it did was gave us a shiny object in front of the bank's eyes to dig a massive hole that my dad could have never dug himself because the banks wouldn't have let him, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes this fancy Ivy League degree and your fancy MBA and your fancy job doing, I don't want to say charlatan's work, but doing consultant work without some skin in the game, it just simply allows you to dig yourself a $1.4 million hole. And if the math is math,
they're going to be there. That's right. Right? Yep.
Now, here's the other side of it. I do want to hold this. Dave taught me this about ratios. If you're making $300,000 to $400,000 a year, you can't pay this off. You have to make some drastic changes. Yep. Sell the cars, pay off the HELOC, sell your home, begin working this debt snowball down. Well, I've got kids. I don't care. Yep. You have a 2-bedroom apartment now. Yep. But I make it. I don't care, right? Yep. This is not the picture you had in your head with your Ivy League degree and your fancy MBA. Mm-hmm. You got to deal with math.
Yeah, and this whole thing too, when you're looking at it, I'm like, this is what the world says is going to create peace and happiness for you. It's just get stuff. Get the HELOC.
Get stuff.
I don't know if you use the HELOC to do renovations on a brand new house. I don't know what all this was used for. But like, this is that's normal.
Yes.
This is the normal plan that's supposed to get you some life of happiness and fulfillment and fun and peace and joy, all this stuff. And you realize it just, because of the avenue of debt, it just digs you down, where you get the opposite effect. You're making an incredible income, and all this stuff was supposed to be this like, exciting thing in life, and it ends up absolutely crushing your soul. So it's a hard lesson to learn, Daniel, but I think that you guys have a couple of years of really, really hard sacrifice from both you and your wife. And it's worth it. You're going to choose your hard. It's either going to be hard for a few years of sacrifice and maybe her going to a job she hates, but it pays good. I mean, whatever you guys have to do, I would rather have that hard and then have freedom on the other side than to live in this day in and day out and nothing changing. So something has to change.
I want to look forward to being 46 years old. I would love for you to put down on paper, I'm a 46-year-old married man with 3 kids. I want you to rewrite this. I'm a 46-year-old married man with 3 kids. I have an Ivy League degree and an MBA from Georgetown. And then you get to write what happens next.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You could still be buried in mortgage and non-mortgage debt and still floating all this garbage, or you can have made some drastic lifestyle changes, stopped spending, sold the cars, all of them, got out of the lease for your summer home or whatever, sold the furniture, sold the stuff, pay off the HELOC, sell the house, and sprint over the next 5 years towards peace.
Yeah. And live like you're making $75 a year.
If that.
Yes. I mean,
we're going scorched earth.
It's nothing. And you can climb out of these numbers. That's the great thing. With an income like this, mm-hmm. I mean, you could have $350,000 a year freed up or more to go and throw at this debt, right? Like, I mean, like there's a big shovel, which is a positive thing.
The income can range from $225 to $415. I call bullcrap on that. It's going to be $415. Mm-hmm. And your job is not to go, oh man, well, I missed the account. It's to get on the phone for the next 72 hours and find another one.
Yeah.
Right? There is no, well, some years is good and some years that you're not a farmer and you're not praying to God for rain.
Right.
You are able to go out and make this stuff work. Go figure that out.
Yep, absolutely. So, John, one of the groups of people that I personally really respect and love in our country our veterans. And so in honor of Veterans Day, we're going to be giving away Financial Peace University, which is our 9-lesson course when it comes to money, to 10,000 veterans totally for free now through Monday, November 13th. So FPU is one of these things that we have helped, millions of people, over 10 million people, walk through and understand the basics when it comes to handling money. So whether it's Daniel's question we just went over, or even callers that we've had in this show today, there's these basic principles that are really key. It's a small part of the puzzle, but actually changing the behavior and knowing what to do with your money and then doing it, that's where you start to see progress. And that's what FPU is so great at. It puts you in a community. You start to practice these new habits around money, this new way of thinking, and we really walk with you through it. So if you are a veteran and you want to take FPU for free, go to RamseySolutions.com/veterans and fill out a simple form that we have there and help us get the word out by sharing the link to all the veterans that you know. So again, RamseySolutions.com/veterans. Over 10,000 veterans were giving FPU away for free. So make sure to check that out. But yeah,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, it's a hard topic, you guys, money. And even coming off Daniel's question in this, it's a lot.
And you can have all the smarts in the world.
Yep.
And struggle with making a budget. It just is, man.
With the basic stuff. And so have the humility to say, hey, what I'm doing isn't working, so I'm going to change it. And hopefully FPU, for all of those you listening, if you haven't done it yet, sign up because it will help you create new habits. This is The Ramsey Show.
Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour with Dr. John Deloney, and we are taking your calls. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. Up next, we have Dylan in Indianapolis. Hey, Dylan, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Well, I'm 20 years old, college dropout, and I put myself in I would say a decent amount of debt at 20, which I'm not very proud of. I owe about $70K in loans, and I stress every day about it when I wake up. So I'm just trying to see you guys' view on how I should start attacking my loan.
Okay.
And how I can pay off my debt.
Okay. What's the debt in?
Well, I have $32K in one semester of student loans. And then I have...
Wait, one semester?
Where'd you go to school?
On Mars?
I went to a private Christian school in Minneapolis.
But one semester was $32,000?
Yes, sir.
So their total annual is $64,000
Per per year. Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay, that's okay, Dylan. That's okay. We're gonna keep moving. We're gonna keep on moving. What else? What else you got? It's already happened.
I'm not very proud of this one, but I actually owe $36K on a car loan.
Okay, we can get rid of that. That's okay. What else?
And then I have a personal loan for like $3,700.
Okay, what was that for?
Well, basically, when I dropped out of college, I got a job in car sales, and I needed a place to live in Minneapolis that was like in a safe area, and that's how much the market rent was, $1,570. And then I had some income problems at that job, so I moved to Indianapolis with my roommate, and I had to buy out my lease.
Okay. So what are you doing now for work?
I still do car sales.
Okay, and how much are you making?
I'm making less than what I owe monthly.
Yeah, because of interest rates are tough right now, right?
Well, I mean, I was blessed to have a good interest rate on my loans. Cause my,
no. I'm saying people aren't buying cars right now.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hit or miss, to be honest.
Okay, so how much will you make this year? How much will you make this year?
My base salary is $24,000, and I make maybe $1,000 a month in commission.
Okay, you quit that job tomorrow. You're not making enough money.
Yeah, you're making 36. You could.
I literally took my son to breakfast the other day, and I drove past a sign. And it was my daughter. Drove past a sign, and it said McDonald's starting $20 an hour. Your car salesman days are over. You're not good at that. You've done it 2 different places, and you don't make enough money to eat. You got to let that dream go.
All right.
And you got to work at McDonald's all day, and then deliver pizzas at night, and drive Uber into the morning. Like you're broke. Is that fair?
How much would the car sell for, Dylan?
Well, I had some negative equity in my last car, so I kind of carried over to the new loan when I bought this car.
How much?
Okay.
So the car is probably worth about like 27 in the market right now. By about 30, 35 something.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I would take out a loan of like 15, pay off the 36, get a cheap car.
There's no way they give him 15 though.
You do what?
I don't think anybody's going to give him a loan for 15.
Oh, get the personal loan out.
Could you go to a credit union and get a loan for $15,000?
I mean, I barely could get one I couldn't even get one for like the $3,000 without my dad co-signing.
Yeah.
Without the co-signing.
Yeah, I think there's no way.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out how to get, because your car loan is what you make a year. So
yes,
yeah. So we got to figure out a plan to get that out of your life. Where's your family?
My family lives in Michigan.
Okay.
Is that a safe place for you to go live for a while?
I would say so, yes.
Yeah.
Because here's the deal.
You're going to need some support around you, Dylan.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're 20, okay? So I want to give you some grace. You're a kid. I mean,
you're
a kid.
The mad at you here is that the systems that surround an 18 and 19-year-old allowed you, a kid just trying to do what everyone's telling you to do. You got to go get a nice car. You got to get a good sales job. You got to go to this college that costs $34,000 or whatever it was a semester. You got to go do this stuff, and you can't afford it. And they let you do that. And I'm just sick to my stomach. But they let you do that, man.
So, Dylan, what the best thing that you can do right now is your income. That side of the equation, because you probably don't have many expenses. I'm assuming not. You're renting and you're going to be living on nothing. You're not going to have a life. And I would probably move close to where you have a support system with some family. If nothing's keeping you in Indianapolis, I would consider that. But Dylan, I mean, I would be working 80 hours a week. I'd be getting up and I'd be somewhere at 6 a.m. and I would be getting home at 9 p.m. I mean, you're going to be exhausted. But Dylan, you're 20 years old.
You can do it.
You don't have kids at home. You don't have a wife. I mean, like, this is the season. This is the season to do it, to absolutely go nuts, because it's the only part of the equation that's actually going to give you some level of grounding. And hopefully after a year of that, of proving some level of income, then maybe you can get out of this car loan. I want this car loan out quickly because it's not worth it. And so whatever you have to do to be able to say, hey, what can I do to qualify to sell this and get it out? Because I think that's the only piece of this that's going to be able to relieve some level of pressure that you can get out. So I would be taking on 2 to 3 jobs. And again, you're not going to have a life, Dylan, but I think that for a season, you're going to be able to to knock some of this out, because and the other great thing, Dylan, that just to encourage you, that you're learning this at 20 years old. People call this show and they're 45 that have, a situation like this. Yeah.
No retirement.
So this is your moment, Dylan, of saying like, what I did isn't working. It's not working. And so I will never again find myself in this position. If I don't have the money, I don't care if it's for school, I don't care if it's for a car. If I don't have the money, I'm not buying it. Like, this needs to be a point in your story, Dylan, that you look back and you say, at 20 years old, I did some dumb stuff. Took me a little bit to get out of it, some hard work, but I got out of it, and that was it. That's the last time you know this. Because, Dylan, if you get this all straightened up, especially at your age, like, this is where you're like, you could build some serious wealth in the future, but not with these habits and not with this mindset that you used to have. Does that make sense?
If you were my friend, Dylan, I would tell you to see about having a hard conversation with my mom and dad. And I say hard, it'd probably be easy, but an embarrassing one. And say, I need to move in for a year, and I'm going to try to make $40,000. And if I have a year with no bills and I make $40,000 and I take home 28 of that, I can start making a dent in some of these things.
Yeah, I currently live with my roommate. I pay about $400 a month for my part of the rent.
And your water, and your electric, and your food?
Yeah, it's about $525.
For all of your bills plus food?
That's not including food. I pay about $60 every 2 weeks for food.
No way.
Yeah, I don't eat a lot. I'm penny pinching.
So let's say you have $700 total, which I don't fully believe, but I'll give it to you. And you make $1,000 a month at your job.
I make about $2,000 base salary and about $1,000 extra on commission.
Okay. So what's your take home every month?
This month will be $2,700.
That's after taxes and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you able to pay minimum payments on all of this? Are you able to put a dent into the student loan, keep up with the car payment?
Yeah, I actually have never missed a payment yet, but I'm getting to the point now where like I feel like I might miss a payment, and I'm afraid because my father co-signed most of these loans, and I don't want to ruin his credit because of my poor.
Yeah,
that's a fair weight to carry for sure. So yeah, Dylan, I think life just looks really different, and I'm sorry for that, because I think there's maybe something you had in your head of what this is going to be, and it's probably not for a season. And
by a season, like 3 or 4 years.
Well, I was gonna say, and map out, Dylan, that like the end game, like look at all of your payments. Look at all of this, and what John's saying, even if you go scorched earth and you literally don't pay for anything, and you say, hey, mom and dad, for a year, can I live with you guys? Like, start to map out a plan to say, okay, it's gonna take me 3 years, and then that's able to be sustainable. If it's just this idea that I'm gonna have to live like this forever and ever, you can start to be demotivated. So have a game plan, map this out as more detailed as possible, and then don't go back in, Dylan. Don't go back in. So Christmas is coming up, you guys. It is quick, and those of you Christmas shopping, if you think about a gift that actually can help your friends and family, make sure to check out our $12 Christmas sales. So our books, Total Money Makeover, Baby Steps Millionaires, and Own Your Past, Change Your Future, all for just $12. And John's questions for human conversation cards are as low as $10 right now.
Hey, let's do one.
With the Christmas
we have
edition.
The Thanksgiving deck here, too.
Oh, yes.
Here you go. What makes... Me and Jay did this one the other day.
Oh.
What makes your family weird, and what makes your family the best?
What makes our family weird? I don't know if this would be weird. We debate all the time, as you could probably imagine.
I can imagine. I've seen
the Ramsey
I'll have to imagine it.
Dinners. And for the most part, this may be the weird part. We can kind of just walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Like Daniel and I really got into it about aliens at dinner the other night. And we said, all right, cheers. And cheers our margaritas and walked away from it. But it got heated for a hot second. But we kind of can just like keep moving.
We were in a debate the other night, me and Daniel and a couple others. And Daniel was like, all right, guys, I'm going to head out. And it was just so perfect. It was awesome.
Oh, my gosh.
Classic
So, yeah,
Daniel.
I would say that's it. That's what makes them great, too. I love it.
What's
what about yours?
one Thanksgiving food item that makes you gag?
Oh, I'm not a green bean fan.
Really?
So green bean, something of the other with like the soup. What's the filling soup people use?
Oh, cream and mushroom soup.
Yeah.
No? Oh, I like to put my face in that. I love it. Ugh.
No. Whatever. You're like a health person.
I know,
You
but
shouldn't like those soups.
I do.
Cream
I
of
like
chicken
it.
now. With some poppy seed chicken
I
recipe.
don't like things they call pink salad, which is just like goo with stuff
I
in
haven't
it.
seen those though. I feel like those are just in the movies.
Oh, they're not.
They're real.
Bits of
It's real.
ham and Cheerios and whatever else they put in them.
Oh my gosh, that's so gross. So go to RamseySolutions.com/store so you buy something great and not a pink, gooey, nasty thing.
That's right.
And also make sure to check out George Camel's brand new book that's coming out in January, you guys. It's pre-order today.
It's right over there.
For only $20.
$20. It's so great.
And you get $10 or $100 of free bonus items. That includes the ebook, exclusive access to online private event, Q&A with George, a lot of stuff, you guys. So George exposes some of the most common money myths and excuses head on. And it's funny. We love George. You're going to love him too. Breaking Free of Broke. Make sure to check that out. So we got a lot of stuff going on this season, you guys. A lot of tools out there because we want to continue this conversation to help you guys when it comes to your money. All right, up next we have Nathan in Fargo. Hey, Nathan, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing great. How can we help?
I had quite a few questions. It's all kind of about the same thing, though. I recently started a new job, and it doesn't pay too bad, but I'm kind of at a loss for what to do with my money. I would really like to be getting a house in, 5-6 years.
Okay.
And I'm kind of just getting a wide array of advice from parents, from friends that do investing. I even went to some people that do, like, you pay someone else to do investing for you. And it's just hard to take advice from anyone because my parents, they just say, stick it in an account and leave it. My friends say do stocks, but they've been trained for that.
Yeah.
And then the investors, I kind of feel like they've got their own agenda with the commission that they're going to be getting from it. So it's just kind of hard to know what to do.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so how much are you making a year?
So I'm based at 80,000, but I'm getting about 85. It's just easy to get little bits extra money here and there.
Okay, perfect. And do you have any debt?
I owe my parents $20,000 for school, but there's no interest on that.
Okay.
And I'm paying them back at about $500 a week is what we agreed on.
Okay. Do you have any money saved?
Not much. This is a pretty recent job, so I've got a couple thousand in the bank account right now, and then I've got 1,000 in a Roth, and then 1,000 in just some individual money markets. But that's all that I've got.
How much are in all of those? Just a couple $100?
1,000 in each.
Okay. So total, probably what, $5,000 that you could get to that doesn't include your Roth?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair.
Okay,
assessment.
perfect. How old are you, Nathan?
21.
Okay, awesome. So what we walk people through, Nathan, is a process called the baby steps, and it really is it's not necessarily the fastest, but it's the most effective way to get from point A to point B when it comes to your money and to build wealth that actually is lasting and sustainable, and it's not this flash in the pan of this quick money. So what I would encourage you to do is I would keep $1,000 in one of your money market accounts. I would cash everything out but your Roth to throw at this 20 grand. And I would pay it off as quickly as possible. Get it out of your, even if there's no interest, all of it, I would make that my number one goal. Just go ahead and get debt free. Because when you free up that $500 a week, which is incredible. I mean, that's $2,000 a month that you then have to save more and save up for an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses in that money market account that you have with your $1,000. Just add to that after you pay off this debt. And then I would look to invest in retirement. So you have your Roth open, which is awesome, but I would put 15% of my income towards your Roth. If your job offers a 401k, do that. But these retirement type accounts, when you get to that point, it really is the best way. I know some of your friends probably do some single stocks and kind of play the market, but honestly, when you look at day trading overall over a long period of time, you end up losing money. There's so much risk in it. And, you know, again, people are trained in this, and if that's like how their mind works, but even those people that are trained in it, it usually comes out as a loss leader. And so being able to put your money in something that is reliable, like good mutual funds, really is the best bet, Nathan. And if you start this early, it's amazing what can happen. If you go to RamseySolutions.com and look at our investing calculator there and just play with some numbers, like it's phenomenal starting at 21 at where you're at. I know you're not going to start today because I want you to get out of debt and get that emergency fund. But I mean, that's where you're heading, which is amazing. And so, yeah, I mean, if you want to buy a house too in the middle of that, I would do that. Save up a good down payment even before you invest. That could be your next step. But if you're not in a rush for that, if there's still, you know, life is in limbo because of season of life where you're at or age, you don't know where you're going to be long term, don't feel like you have to rush into that.
Sure. Okay.
And Nathan,
yeah, well, I totally sorry for it.
Oh, sorry to cut you off, man. You are super wise. I heard something in you, and I want you to never, ever, ever lose this, okay?
Okay.
You have a $20,000 interest-free loan to your parents. You know
Correct.
that they want to float that because there's a little bit of guilt, a little bit of parent weirdness there.
Yeah, 100%.
You have a couple of buddies who are like, bro, dude, buy stocks. We're going to be billionaires. Dude, if we bought Tesla, And you recognize, dude, I don't even like eat the same food y'all eat because you're morons. And then you have a couple other buddies that don't have the heart of a teacher. They have the heart of a commission salesman when it comes to retirement. Bro, you need to put it in my like super fund. And so you're like, hey, wait a minute. You just make money every time I do this. You are so wise looking like following the rabbit down the hole. And so what Rachel just gave you was a map to unhooking yourself from all these other opinions and living a life that very, very, very few Americans live, which is a life of freedom and peace.
That sounds pretty good.
Like, Mom, like, oh, honey, you don't need to pay us back this much. Mom, I'm not going to owe anybody any money, including you. Well, it's no interest.
Yeah,
I know, Mom.
Thing that I'm looking at now.
Yeah, dude. And it changes Christmas, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. You know, if they see me, you know, showing up and I've got, you know, a nice new coat, they're thinking, well, why isn't that money that's
Totally.
Get off, get it out. Yeah.
Oh.
And man, if you want to buy a house, buy a house. Bro, you're missing out on the new stock. Well, cool. I'm gonna have a place to live, and I'll let you rent my garage.
Yeah, and the hard thing too, Nathan, to John's point, is like, this plan is not the exciting, like flashy.
It's the least sexy plan there is.
Yeah, it's not going to be like, oh yeah, did you see this thing that happened this week? It's not. I mean, but it's the thing that is going to sustain you, because it not only helps put you in a better financial situation, it helps you, Nathan, the person, as you're going through this of delayed gratification, all of it. And people make really unwise financial decisions when they're greedy. And what's the other one?
When they're drunk, greedy, and looking for shortcuts.
Yes. So don't do that, Nathan. Play the long game. And you're being so wise at your age to do this. So thank you so much for the call. Thanks to all the guys in the booth to make this happen.
And Emily.
And Emily. Sorry, Emily. I see you, girl. John, thanks for co-hosting. And thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I am Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour with Ramsey personality and best-selling author Dr. John Deloney. And we're here to answer your questions, America. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. All right, starting off this hour, this is a good question, John, to start us off on the Ramsey Show. We have Gary. Gary's calling from Phoenix. Hey, Gary.
Gary.
Welcome to the show.
Why you What's up, dude?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. How can we help?
Well, my question is, I listen to your show and on the car radio driving around, and when people do their debt-free scream and stuff, if they're paying off all their debts and everything except for their house and everything, including their house, they are making a significant raise, anywhere from $20,000 to $90,000. I can't see them possibly working that many hours of overtime to make $90,000 more. So can you explain what's going on here for different things? I mean, that's great, but it sounds like too good to be true.
Yeah, I could see that. I think a couple of things are going on. Number one, I do think that they pick up extra work. I mean, that is a real thing. Side hustles have become a big part of how people up their income. And two, Gary, I mean, I don't have specifics on this, but there is something to be said about somebody that is so lasered in and focused on a goal, like getting out of debt, that so much of their time, so much of their energy is focused on it. And when you start to focus on one area of your life that has been so out of control, and you start to see progress, and you start to actually see the movement that is happening in the direction that you want, other parts of your life start to be affected by that. You start to actually, and we get the same thing with people when they do their debt-free screams, people that lose weight, the amount of people that say, I lost 100 pounds in this process too. People that say our marriage has been different. These parts of their lives that aren't correlated specifically to money start to actually improve. And so for some people, I mean, you could even take someone on commission, when they're so focused on something, they're going to be working so much harder and as a result, be making more because they are so focused and so lasered in. And then on the flip side too, I think, employers even see that. And we hear people all the time say, I got a raise because their work has been so effective because they are so lasered in and focused. So I think it's a combination of a lot of that.
I'll also say, this is all anecdata. So I'm just trying to rack my brain here for all the debt-free screams I've been a part of. Often people decide, like, I want to get out of debt, and a stay-at-home mom goes back to work full-time. Or someone's just now finishing graduate school, and they're entering into their job. And so they may have made $20,000 working part-time through grad school, and suddenly they get their job, and they're making $85,000, and it looks like a strange, bizarre jump, but it's really not. So I think,
for example, for the last part of my career when I was working, I was making like $30 an hour. So at $20,000 was in overtime. So all that together in 1 year was $80,000. But some of these people are getting a raise of $90,000. So it just kind of sounds hard for me to.
What did you do?
I think that's great, but hey.
What did you do?
I worked in utilities and mainly on a valve crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Water and gas.
So imagine you had put yourself in a management track, and at the same time you decided to get out of debt, and you became super laser focused, and you did that work, and you left the crew and you went to a management track, and then they put you into the ownership group. That's not a far jump, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I can see where you're sitting, and actually I appreciate this question because I know that it gives people the one that sticks out in my mind, Rachel, is the teacher. There was a teacher in New York City when they shut down everything, and she had all this student loan debt. I think in my head, I remember being over six figures, over $100,000.
Yeah.
And she just felt trapped in her apartment, and so she started driving early in the morning, and then she would go teach class via Zoom, and then the second the computer closed, she'd go out and deliver food all night, into the night. And she paid off like in some crazy
number, yeah.
And I remember thinking, I told her, oh, you're one of those people that is just a curve buster. You ruined it for everybody because now we have no excuse.
Right.
And so I can imagine if I'm sitting there going, I just don't buy it. Now, if I've worked on a crew my whole career and I turn wrenches and I'm amazing at it, that's what I do. Yeah, dude, you're going to get a raise of $1.75 an hour. You're going to go up to $4 an hour when you get put in charge of the crew. I can see that being a hard jump.
Yep.
But if you decide I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and part of that is I'm going to give away my dream and I'm going to go do the management track.
I was going to say, that's the other thing. People changing positions because they're like, oh my gosh, I could literally be making this. We cut our debt in half. And for right now, it's not about me loving my job and doing my passion. It's about getting out of debt.
That's right.
We're going to jump ship and we're going to get something that pays more. And we find that too. So it's a great question. Though,
great
Gary.
question, man.
All right. Up next, we have Matt in Orlando. Hey, Matt, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me on. How are you?
Absolutely. We're doing great. How can we help?
All right, so I have a kind of like a unique question. So I've done pretty well financially, but I'm to the point now where I'm just trying to spend a little more money than I used to, and I'm very frugal, and I'm kind of I sacrifice, a lot, and I've saved up a lot, and I want to do some more things with my family, and I kind of look at like family experiences is like a good way of spending money. And the money we're spending is starting to make me a little nervous. So a couple of things that we've done recently, like we're spending a little bit more on vacations and more on some like season tickets for a sporting event.
Hey, Keaton, do me a huge favor. Speak directly into your phone for me.
I am sorry.
I'm sorry, Matt. Sorry, Matt. Okay.
And I'm also having we're also considering a house edition, like a large one.
Okay.
And it's a pretty large one. So that being said, I'm just I don't really know the metric of how much you need to have in order to spend this much. And I hope maybe you guys can help me out.
Yeah. Well, when it gets down to the point, when you have no debt, you have your emergency fund, is your house paid off?
My house is paid off, yes.
Okay. So you guys are, living in that baby step 7 world. It is all about ratios. So how much you guys have in your nest egg?
So in investments, just like stock market and retirement, we have like 9.2 million, give or take, but I don't check it every day like I used to.
Okay. And how much are you making a year?
It's based on the year, but like the last few years, it's been between like 1.4 to like 1.7 million.
Yeah, that's great. Well done, Matt.
Hold
done.
on. I got to know, brother. What vacation are you sweating?
Well, it's not one vacation, but we've done some really nice vacations, but every year we're kind of spending more. So I was kind of thinking to myself, what's the amount of money per year we can just allocate towards vacations? That's kind of like more my question. If you want to know the places, I can tell you, but as far as the vacations, it's kind of like first it was like maybe $15,000 a year, and now last year it was like $35,000. This year it's like $62,000.
Yeah, totally. Well, the way I would look at it is allocating more, not just on vacations specifically, but I would be looking at what am I spending, what are we saving, and what are we giving. All 3 of those buckets need to have a percentage to them, and you get to put that percentage, Matt, to it, and you guys are fine.
You're fine.
I think you're fine. I think you can spend some of that, okay? But make sure you're doing all 3 things with your money.
You're fine.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Rachel Cruz hosting this hour with Dr. John Deloney, and we got some news in that Mint is closing up shop come January, and it's going to leave about 4 million budgeters out in the wide open range, John.
In the cold.
In the cold.
In the Christmas cold.
Come to our warmth at Ramsey Solutions.
Wow, Rachel made that sales pitch real weird. Come to Rachel's warmth.
We have one of the best budgeting apps, the best budgeting app, EveryDollar. It's one that I use. Winston, I checked it every day. Did my transactions this morning, tracking them. I love it. It keeps us. We have a trip coming up. I was just telling John. We're going to be going to New York next week, and even planning that, I'm like, we have a line item for New York, and it's like when the hotel, you pay half of it. When you go, when you have the deposit down, that's in there, and like tickets to a show, like everything is there, and it just helps you stay on track, know where your money is, and it just gives you a sense of control, which is just so powerful. So if you want to check out EveryDollar, make sure to go to everydollar.com. And EveryDollar Premium, honestly, is one of the best things that you can do because it connects to your bank. You have bank connectivity, paycheck planning, so many options with EveryDollar Premium. So make sure to check out that budgeting app, EveryDollar.
Well, and
it's the best one.
I never used Mint, but the way George explained it to me is Mint was great at telling you what you spend.
Mm-hmm.
What you spent, how to.
It's yes.
It's like the old checkbook register.
Right.
I paid for this, and this was withdrawn from my account. EveryDollar is so much more because it helps you plan into the future,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it that it connects me and my wife. Can both be connected to it, so when I spend something, I know that she's gonna see it. She's gonna see it.
She's seen like John.
But it continues to connect us, but also you can plan into the future. We want to buy a car, so every month we're going to move money over to this, and it keeps a running tally for us.
Yes,
or
the sinking funds.
If you owe money, it shows you as you're paying it off, which is amazing too,
yes,
right?
Yeah, and when your bills hit with the paycheck planning, you can know, okay, when my check hits on the 1st, is that enough to get us through the 15th? What bills are hitting between now and the 15th? I mean, it helps you plan out your life. So again, it's an incredible budgeting app, and that is EveryDollar. All right, up next we have Keaton in Spokane, Washington. Hey, Keaton, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're doing great. How can we help?
Hi. I just had a quick question here for you guys regarding my student loan payments here. I'm just curious to know what's the best way to attack my student loan repayments here upcoming.
Okay. How much do you owe?
Currently, I have just under $27,000.
Okay.
I've been saving up for the last few years to pay this off. I do have about $40,000 saved up, so I'm able to.
Hey, Keaton. Yeah, speak into the phone for me, brother.
Speak into the phone. Yeah, it's echoing.
Oops, I'm sorry, guys. Can you hear me?
Now we're back. Good
Perfect.
job.
Okay. Sorry about that. I have about $40,000 saved up to repay these student loans, but I've had family members and friends kind of give me their advice of the best way to get rid of these student loans, and I was just curious what you guys thought is the best way to do so.
The best way is pay them off today.
I would write a check right now.
When you get off the phone.
Yeah, just get rid of it. Just
get rid of it.
All
of it. Yep.
Well, I'm curious. Why does your family say, "Oh, keep them. They're so beautiful," and they give you so much joy and love in your heart?
I've been paying the last couple months. I've been paying well above the minimum payment. I've been paying about $1,000 for each month. Essentially, what my mother says is that I guess it's better to have that money in case of emergency or whatever, rather than just being out $27K. So I guess that's where the reservations come from.
What do you do for a living?
I work remotely. I work for a sales company. I make around $125 a year.
Don't tell me the name of it, but what's your product? What do you sell?
We sell telematic devices for large logistics companies. So you can think of dash cameras and GPS units for large companies.
Yeah. So Keaton, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I remember a few years ago when a lot of people got sent home and then people had to make their Q2 and Q4 numbers, and there's a lot of work from home layoffs. Is that ever a possibility in your world?
Not that I'm expecting. Our company is actually doing extremely well. So I wouldn't foresee that. Actually, it's the opposite. We're actually growing exponentially right now. So things are pretty solid.
So I have a wired in. This is mean. I don't want to project this into your world. I just grew up in Houston when there was this incredible company, one of the greatest companies in human history, called Enron. And they were always growing. And they were so amazing that they just printed money. It fell from the sky. They extracted it from energy sources. It was amazing until everybody woke up one day and millionaires they went to bed millionaires. They woke up literally with zero. Here's why I tell you that. I think there's a fallacy that the job is always going to be there unchanged. That the one thing is going to be unchanged is that you owe the government money. That will never change. They even tried to do it, went all the way to Supreme Court. It failed. That's not going to change. And so I would look in my life, what are the 100% constants? And then I'll start working down from that. And even if it's 99% chance that your job's going to keep flourishing, you're going to keep crushing it, keep making six figures, awesome. That's still a 1% differential from the guaranteed you're going to owe the government money. If on the off chance that your company's the next Enron, which I'm sure it's not, but you get that call that says, hey, man, we got to, or the email that says, hey, effective this date, this is going to be your last paycheck. Thank you for your service. The student loan's still due the next month.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And there is something, Keaton, about having, and it may feel a little different because you have the money in the bank just to pay it off if it got down to like some crazy situation. But John talks about this a lot. But there is something about just owing someone something. There's like this lack of autonomy. And when you just write a check or you go online and you do the payment and it's done, like there is something that you have this level of freedom that you just don't have right now. This level that I am not attached to anyone and I have complete freedom, and you end up making other choices. You know, the mindset your mom, not to like bash your mom's mindset, but that mindset, it is so normal of just like, hey, keep that there. It's fine. It's not a big deal. And that's the game people play day in and day out. And they don't realize how much of their income is going to this debt, how much you're paying in interest now. And it's playing this game versus saying, you know what, I'm going to do an extreme situation that is not normal. I'm going to be completely debt free. Keaton, you're still going to have $13,000 for an emergency fund. Are you single?
I do have a girlfriend.
Okay. But yeah, not married, no kids. Like that's a great emergency fund. Maybe you can beef it up a little bit more if you want. And you're going to be able to do a whole lot of things without ever being tied to the government anymore, not having that line of debt. And so there's just something about cutting it out that is going to give you a level of peace that you almost don't even imagine because you've been carrying it around so long. It's become so normal. And that's what people do all over, especially with student loans. It's like the one type of debt. People are like, oh, my car loan, my credit card. But student loans somehow kind of just, it's just the thing that just stays around is what it feels like. And people just get so used to it. And when you finally get rid of it, I bet you, Keaton, there's something tonight, because I want you to do it today, tonight that you're just going to be like, okay, it's done. Now I get to go back to my plan and saving up for me and not sitting here and like dealing with the government every month.
What is your take home every month?
It fluctuates because I work in sales, so it's anywhere between 10 to 12,000 a month.
How much do you send to student loans right now?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
How much do you send to student loans right now?
Right now, I've been sending $1,000 a month.
Okay.
My minimum payment is around $250 as well.
So you get to do
so
even
1,000
more.
So in 6 months.
Keaton, did we? I'm just curious. Say yes or no, real quick. Did we convince you? Are you going to pay it off today and just be done with it?
Yeah, because I've been following Dave's baby steps, and I know that this is part of the plan is to attack your debt and just get rid of it once
All right.
you have it. So
well, we got to go to a break, but I love it. Pay it off.
You did it. Pay it off. 6 months, you'll have $18,000. You'll be good to go.
So the holiday season always creates conversation around stuff and what we have, and especially you parents out there, if you have kids and you got the Amazon booklet with all the toys, my kids did, and they circled every single thing in it as I opened it. And I was like, oh, really, children? Really? Is that all that you want? Is that all that you feel like you need? But that contentment piece is so huge. And it's one that I keep kind of drilling into my kids where I'm like, you guys, that excitement. My 6-year-old the other day, she just was so mad. I put this story on Instagram, but she was just so mad in her room. And I was like, what's wrong, Caroline? She's like, I'm so mad at Brilliant Sky, which is a toy store here in Franklin. I was like, why are you mad at Brilliant Sky? She was like, there's so many great toys and I can't have any of them. And I was like, oh, well, I feel that way about J. Crew. I get it. I want all that stuff too,
That would have been a perfect
Caroline.
time for you to be like, well, honey, I wrote a book.
I know. But I was like, but it's a constant conversation, especially if you have little kids in your life of like, you guys, listen, you can have the fun toy, but that excitement that you want out of that fun toy fades in about 15 minutes.
Right.
And especially the younger you are, the faster that fades. But it's true for adults and kids. And so, yeah, that is one reason I wrote my book. I'm glad for what I have. It's my first children's book, and it's out today. It's launch day. And it has beautiful illustrations. It's so fun, but it's just a great book to remind kids and adults, the reader, that stuff is not bad, but it doesn't fulfill you the way you think it does. So it's going to be a great Christmas gift or even Thanksgiving gift if you have kids in your life. So make sure to check that out. And we have other great meaningful gifts for Christmas at our $12 sale at RamseySolutions.com/store. So there's books like The Total Money Makeover, Baby Steps to Millionaires, Own Your Past, Change Your Future, all for just $12. And the Questions for Humans cards that John has done is there for less than $10 or as low as $10. And the Christmas edition is back, and those sold out last year. So make sure to check it out. So some great stuff out there to actually help create great habits, great conversations around your life and your money for this Christmas. So again, check it out at RamseySolutions.com/store.
Hey, real quick, before we go to call, I want to call this out for parents out there. So I take my son to breakfast to Waffle House. Free advertising. There you go. We go to Waffle House every Tuesday. Not this Tuesday, but last Tuesday. I am starting to pregame, and I said, Hank, this year we're not going to buy 50 things. We're going to do a couple of things here, and then we're going to do some educational stuff because his mom and I are nerds, and we're going to have a couple of clothes, that kind of stuff.
Some museums.
Yeah, exactly. Just books and things like that. And he looked at me, and you know what he said? He goes, yeah, that's exactly what you said last year. I'll see if you hold to it.
Oh, my God.
And so really quick, I was using my son in this big announcement, like, hey, Christmas is going to look different. But I was trying to get my son to make me feel okay.
Yeah.
Because I have told myself a lie that the only way my kids will love me and the only way my kids will feel fulfilled is if I buy a bunch of crap.
Yep.
And it was my 13-year-old going, oh, that's cute, Dad. Cool. You always tell us that, and then you buy a bunch of
and
stuff
you don't
because you're insecure. He didn't say it, but so parents, we often point it to the kids. It's often us.
Oh, yes.
Who try to buy our way out of, or buy our kids' love, or to put stuff under the tree because we feel guilty that we're always at work or whatever.
Yep.
We have to be okay with ourselves too.
Yes.
And maybe as we read this book to our children, we need to absorb that message too.
That's right. I know that was one of my goals in it. And it's so funny, even with the Christmas conversation. I remember last year taking a picture of like our Christmas setup because people do that on Instagram and they're like, Christmas Eve. I know you hate it, John. And I did it. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. We had some good toys and everyone was like, I love the minimal Christmas. Oh my gosh. Like that was every comment. And I was like, oh man. And for a split second, I was like, did we not get our kids enough stuff? And then I thought, no, we had a budget and I don't want to like load it with a bunch of crap of stuff. It's just toy stuff is so annoying. It just gets everywhere. And it's like, you got Sonic toys that
Dear
come in.
God,
Dear God,
please be with Rachel and Winston. They're clearly struggling.
all of it. I don't know. It just was really funny. So I feel like I practice what I preach subconsciously.
Well,
that's how it was.
I'm
just
going
kidding.
for it this year.
So good. All right. Up next, we got Allie in New York City. Hey, Allie. Welcome to the show. Allie, are you there?
Hi.
Hey, Allie,
yes,
what's
I'm
up?
Here. Hi.
Hi. How can we help?
Actually, about a month ago, I purchased the Financial Peace University stuff, and I was going to do it with my husband because we had gotten into some debt and things were not great, but we had a plan and we were going to get ourselves out of it. And he was changing jobs and we had a really big plan. And then he died about a week ago.
Oh, honey.
And
gosh, Allie, I'm so sorry.
What happened?
Which was a song?
Allie, what happened?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
What was his name?
I don't know yet. Bill. So I have children that I need to take care of, and things are changing very quickly, and our house was being sold, and I am going forward with that plan because financially I really need to do that. So here's my point. I there's like sort of the traditional financial peace way of doing things. We didn't get to start it, but I'm actually taking the first class tonight, and I know like what the steps are, but so much has changed so quickly, and I really need to think about, do I buy a house for them? Do I rent? I want to have some sort of stability. I just have all these really, really major choices that I'm being faced with, and I don't know what my first step should be.
Yeah. So this is super, super important. Number one, I'm so sorry. I'm heartbroken with you. I can hear it in your voice. This is a week ago.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Okay. Do you have somebody that can hold your hand right now?
No, I have to be alone for a little bit. There's been a lot of people around a lot, and they're helpful. They're great. But I have kids, and I'm trying to be okay when I'm home. So I try to do things when I'm out of the house.
Okay. A couple of things here. Number one, the greatest gift you can give your kids right now is to let them see their mommy be super, super sad. If you try to become perfect in front of them, become an iron statue of strength and stability, they're going to feel that humongous hole in their heart, and they're going to think they're crazy. And it sounds counterintuitive, but if they see mommy cry and they come sit with mom and y'all weep together, and then you say, let's go get something to eat, that's going to be the greatest gift, because they're going to know they're not crazy. They're just like their mommy, and their mommy's really, really strong. Okay?
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, the greatest wisdom I ever got during some pretty profound loss, and as I've sat with people over the years, don't do anything permanent for 6 months to a year. If the house was already being sold and that was already in the works and that's the right decision for y'all, then fine. Please don't run out and buy a house. Please don't do that. And everybody's going to give you this and that and this. The stability, quote unquote, for your kids is going to come from y'all. It's not going to come from a geographic location right now. Okay? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're going to get 1,000 different pieces of advice. Please double back on this one. Don't buy a house right now, because you don't know what 6 months from now or a year from now is going to look like. When it comes to job, when it comes to moving back with family, when it comes to your business closes, who knows what's going to look like.
Yeah, it's the big decisions, Allie, and the small ones. Like even FPU, like if you want to take that tonight, you can, or I would even just wait on that. Like I think that, yes, I want to make sure there's food on the table and your basic bills are covered. So if you feel like that's going to help you get a level of stability, that's great. But even the small tactical stuff with money, I think goes on the back burner. Yes. Even there. I think right now, Allie, to grieve, yes, I would take the pressure off. And again, if you feel like you need that for an educational standpoint, that's fine. But I don't want you to feel this pressure that you have to get every single thing in order right now. I think the number one thing for you is to grieve and to get this house sold, because it's in the process. Find a place to rent, make sure food is on the table, lights are on, your basics are covered. But I would sit in that for about 2 to 3 months. And then if you feel like, okay, now I can start to actually learn and expand in that way, I would do that. But if you'll hold the line, Emily's going to pick up and we're going to give you some stuff, Allie. And we are so sorry. So sorry. Our scripture of the day comes from Philippians 4:12. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. Plenty. That was my southern accent coming through.
Plenty?
I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty. There it is again, plenty or in want. Thank you, Paul.
In case you're wondering, America, there is not a reading quiz before accepting the job of personality.
Plenty. I was saying plenty. I sound like an English accent or a Southern accent.
Oh, you sound like you've or like 6 Xanax into the afternoon is what you sound like.
Gosh.
Plenty? What's so hard about plenty?
Plenty. I don't know. Bob's saying I said it okay. I don't know. It just sounded weird when I said it. Anyways, Jordan Peterson says, perhaps you are overvaluing what you don't have and undervaluing what you do.
Because you might have plenty.
Plenty.
That's what you say when you walk into like an apartment. It has lots of plants. It's like, it feels planty in here.
Feels a little... I don't know how many apartments you walked in and said that, John, but good for you. Good for you. Well, you guys, the Ramsey Show annual listener survey is live now. Give us good ratings, me and John. You know, this was a
you just did a bang up transition there between.
So
I can't read, but you should vote me.
We
vote me good.
Want to know what you love about the show. We want to know what you want to hear more about. Everything around this show, we want the show to be helpful to you. So knowing what you want and what you like, what you don't like, all of it is helpful to us. So if you'll text survey to 33789 or visit RamseySolutions.com/survey. Fill that out for us because it helps us here on the Ramsey Show. So you can sign up today and actually enter to win a $500 gift card, which is amazing. So,
hey, real quick off that last call.
Yes.
This is super important, especially as we enter into the holiday season. Unfortunately, this will happen. Holiday seasons sometimes see a spike in people who pass away for any number of reasons. And as the caller in the last call said, she didn't even know. Right? Didn't even know. Please give your family the greatest gift you can give them, which is a will this holiday season. Get a will.
And life insurance.
Yes, and life insurance. Separate from your job. In that last call, he was transitioning jobs. He's moving from job A to job B. And please do that. One year, my parents got all 3 of us kids long-term care insurance for themselves, and we all applauded. It was one of the greatest gifts ever, right? It was amazing.
Yes.
Because we were kind of quietly talking, like, hey, if something happens to mom, like, do you got any money? We were kind of talking.
Right.
And that's what they got for It was what a gift.
Yes.
Even if you tell your adult kids or your teenage kids, we got life insurance. They might go, I wanted an Xbox, but I promise they'll be happy.
Absolutely.
Get a will.
A will, yeah. Mama Bear Legal Forms, check them out, and Xander Insurance for term life insurance.
Please,
but yeah, taking care of your family and this stuff, you guys, sometimes it's an awkward discussion for people, or they don't want to face reality, and maybe even your parents, like you were saying, even with your parents, John, but having those conversations and encouraging the people in your life to have things taken care of because life happens, and we see that all the time on this show. And just like Allie in the last segment, it's just terrible and heartbreaking. But when that stuff is in order, it gives some peace and stability to a really hard and sad situation. So it's a great point, John. All right, up next we have Beth in LA, Los Angeles. Hey, Beth, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm actually just calling because I need some encouragement. I have known about FPU for years. 16, 17 years since I've been married. And for some reason, it's just taken me till June to finally get on board and my husband get on board. So we paid off $23,000, but we have $83,000 to go. And I just feel like I've kind of lost that, drive, not to keep going, but, I just need encouragement because I feel like we started too late with this, and there's just so many pressures going on, not going to have enough for our kids. We're not going to have a house because we started too late. So I just kind of need no, you got this. You can keep going. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, how old are you guys, Beth?
I'm 38. My husband's 40.
Okay. How old are your kids?
3 and 7.
Okay. So great. Well, for sure, it's not too late.
Not even close.
No, let me just say that out loud. And you guys are in a hard journey, Beth. This isn't easy. If it was easy, everybody would do this. And you guys have just started in June. So you're kind of 6 months in, and a little bit of that newness and the excitement of something new has probably faded. And you're realizing, oh my gosh, this is the path that we're on. For what?
Yeah.
How many more years have you guys mapped out this? Probably 2 more years?
Yeah, January 2026 is what the plan date is.
Okay.
So we're putting $3,500 a month.
2 years
towards our debt.
All right.
That's amazing.
Can I ask you a hard question?
Yeah.
Why Los Angeles? Why one of the most expensive places on planet Earth to live?
because it's where my family is.
Boo! Not a good answer. What's another answer?
I know. God keeps bringing us back here.
No.
My husband and I have moved around 3 different times.
No, you can't pawn that one off on God. You keep getting back in a moving van and going back to LA is what you keep doing.
I have a very good job, though.
All right.
How much do you guys make in a year?
We make $10,000 a month after taxes. So I may bring in $116, and he's at $75.
Okay. Yeah. So $120 after taxes. Yeah. Yeah. So Beth, I mean, I think, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And for where you guys are, you're right at that 24-month mark that you have 24 months to go. And continuing to put your head down and driving it down. I mean, it's amazing how easily you can be distracted, and especially when you make great money. I mean, you guys are bringing home $120, and feeling like, oh my gosh, we work hard, but we're not able to go and do the things we want to do with it. It's that continual going back. When things are hard, going back. And I would celebrate along the way. Is this $83,000? Is it broken up into multiple debts?
Yeah, they're smaller. Yeah.
Okay.
Smaller.
Yeah. So have things that you guys do as a family to small celebrations. I mean, it could be something as, I don't know, maybe we always say don't go out to dinner, but maybe it's like, hey, one night we're going to go and enjoy a dinner out, or maybe we're going to go and do this thing. You had the chains, the visual things with the construction paper John did. But yeah, I mean, finding these elements that you can say, okay, we've checked that off. But it's 2 years, Beth. I'm like, by the time you're 40, all of it's going to be done. Like, it's not that long. Do you know that either? I mean, you've got this.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this.
Thank you.
There is that part where I love that, Rachel, you said marathon, because right as you were talking, here's what I thought of. I thought of the gun goes off in the marathon and everyone is like waving flags and it feels so great. And you're like, I'm going to run 26 miles. And then you're at like mile 3.5. And you realize, oh, geez, I'm tired. Nobody's cheering. This weirdo's breathing all weird behind me. And I have 23 more miles. And here's your option. You can quit, or you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And so I think it's really important that you and your husband map out, like, the social norming part here. There's going to be some moments of excitement, like, yes! There's going to be some moment of, I hate you, I hate money, I hate everybody. There's going to be some, like, if you ask me to have a stay-in date one more time, I'm just going to set the apartment on fire just to watch something burn. Like, I want you to know all those feelings are totally normal. You're not crazy. You're not broken.
Okay.
This is a disciplined march from here on out. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do the right thing next month, and I'm going to do the right thing the month after that. And I'm going to I love what Rachel said. Me and my wife had little change, like when you're a kid and you're going to go on a ski trip or something, or Christmas is coming. And we just put every dollar amount we were going to pay for the next X number of months, and we hung it in our bedroom. It was so ridiculous, but I wanted it every day that I woke up on to see it. And we just ripped one of those things off.
And Beth, know
the kids
too,
saw it.
As you guys are pushing through this hard season, this like slump that you're feeling, that's the stuff where you're continuing to say, we're going to do what we said we're going to do. And that discipline that's created in that, and not the flashy, exciting moments of life. It is in the dirt and in the mess and in the frustration, but you continue to do what you said you're going to do. That level of stability, Beth, and that level of refining and that level of maturity is the same spirit that's going to carry you guys when you start to build wealth. And Beth, who's 50, who has awesome money in her Roth IRA, and she's killing it, and you guys are like living the dream. What you had and what you went through in this process is the same character that's going to hold you in that. So we believe in you. We see this every day, Beth. You got this, Beth. You got this. Well, thanks to all the guys in the booth, including Emily, John. Thank you so much. And thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show.